So after doing some testing on the engine, we've determined that the coil is actually bad. We're just going to replace the coil. I'm going to try and start it again. Hopefully that's the only thing that's wrong with it. We'll see once we get the new coil installed if that takes care of the problem. This is the same Jaguar they used in the Whitesnake video. Here I go again on my own. If it was me, I'd have two of them, a black one and a white one, just like in the video. Are you ready, Leroy?
No.
Cross your fingers.
Whoa!
What was that? It's gonna start.
It's gonna start.
I think the problem's actually in the ignition switch now that we've replaced the coil. Because it does funny things. If you wiggle the key, you can make the lights come on and off out here inside. It's a dumb design. It's got this adapter on it. You see, it's a normal top post battery from the factory. It goes through this adapter to another top post battery. And it's got this threaded screw on-off switch for the car, so you can shut power off to the car at any given time. I guess if you're going to store the vehicle for long periods of time, which would be great if this was an RV. So all the power that this car uses to start actually flows through this one little teeny tiny copper bolt. So we're just going to eliminate all of this. Live.
What do you think Mike's doing?
Man, I'll bet he's coming up with cool things to do to the Jag.
Mike! We gotta go get the tires for the Jaguar.
All right. We just got into Tire Barn at 141st and State Road 37. They were nice enough to donate a set of Goodyear tires for our Jaguar build. We're gonna go inside and we're gonna check out and see what they do.
Yeah, really, after 3 years, a tire starts to break down. At that point, you want to start thinking about having them replaced. 5 years, or anything after 5 years, they really get dangerous. You can see on this particular tire here, these are the old ones that came off. It's about 20 years old. You can see he had some almost to the cord almost hanging out. And obviously, this is the new Goodyear we're going to put on there for him.
One of the days we followed Olivia around, she spoke in an elementary school to tell her story. I was amazed to observe her talk because she never lost the attention of the kids listening. Her age and experience help her relate to the kids, and her confidence and warmth seemed to capture their hearts. One person in particular who enjoyed the talk was Drew, a student at the school who suffers from alopecia.
Bullying, you normally think of someone like pushing someone or like hitting someone or just being in a fight or being like really mean, but bullying can be as simple as telling someone you don't like their shirt. Like that could really hurt someone. And I never really thought about it until I had been with alopecia and actually being bald in school.
How did it feel to have somebody say a lot of the same things that you've probably experienced?
It felt good for everybody to know like what it's like to have alopecia.
So it's kind of cool that now everybody that you go to school with kind of knows what you're going through. Olivia, you have a dream job. Tell me about it.
Well, I work for Radio Disney, and this is where we are. And basically what I do is they shoot me an email and say, hey, you're gonna interview this organization. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And so I do research on them, and I come up with a whole list of questions. I, think about what I'm gonna say, and I come in, and me and another kid caster, that's what they like to call us, the two of us actually interview the adults all by ourselves.
So if my calculations are right, that means you were 11 years old when you started this?
I was 11 years old because I'm 14 now.
So were you scared at first?
At first, I kind of was a little skeptical about it. I was just like, I'm 11, am I allowed to have a job? Is this legal?
How did you get a job like this?
Well, actually, they called me in to interview me, and I was only 11, maybe 10. No, I was 10 and a half, I think, at the time. And they were like, hey, we heard about your story and why you are bald with the alopecia and how you're not sick and you're trying to make a difference. Would you want to maybe come in and have an interview with us? And I was like, sure, yeah, that's cool. And so I came in, and I was on the same show. Kids were interviewing me and my mom. And about a week later, they said, hey, do you want to work for us? And I was like, yeah.
I am going to compress this caliper before we actually take the caliper off the rotor, and we're going to be replacing the brakes on this car, so we'll be able to stop it. These brakes are a little bit different from your normal car, just because it really has a performance braking setup on this Jaguar. These are 4-piston calipers, which is a really nice setup. The brake rotors are in there kind of a weird way. It's actually behind this hub assembly, but it looks like the rotors on this car are in really good shape. Doesn't look like it's been hardly driven on at all. So we're not going to replace the rotors. We're just going to put some new pads in here, and that is going to save us some time too from having to pull the whole hub assembly off the car. After digging into the car, we're finding quite a few little extra things that need to be done to the car, but nothing life-threatening and nothing that's going to keep us from getting this done on time. One of the cool things we're doing on Tite Rides is we're going to fix this Mustang up for a car show called Slamology. Slamology is June 18th and 19th, so we've got about a month to get this car fixed up. We took a Mustang that was wrecked on the interstate. We've redone all the body work and repainted it. What we're going to do now, and in the upcoming weeks, is we're going to revamp the interior and do some engine modifications and really kind of trick this thing out to make it really cool for the car show.
Hey, do you ever fake it? Oh yeah, I fake it all the time. Really? It's easier, it's faster, and nobody can ever tell the difference.
Easy Tans, the tanning salon. No contracts, no membership fees, with 4 levels of state-of-the-art equipment plus UV-free spray tanning.
No long-term commitment, just tanning made easy.
Easy Tans with 2 convenient locations. It's the best place to get hot.
Welcome back to the Gold Mine. Whether it's a juicy steak, house-made pasta, or an appetizer shared among family and friends, the Gold Mine is the place on Indy's southeast side. Our food is made from scratch daily, and our cozy dining room is perfect for spending time with family and friends. You can also enjoy the live entertainment and fire pit outdoors on the patio. Great friends, great food, great spirits. Just leave the work to us.
Olivia, you give back to people so much every single day, and we want to thank you for doing that. So we have a surprise for you. We know that you were really close with somebody that's been gone for a while, and his name is Pablo, possibly?
Yeah.
Well, take a look at what Pablo looks like now. off and tell us from A to Z where you started and where you ended.
Well, when we got the car, it didn't run. First of all, the tires were flat, and the paint was really, really faded, really cracked and oxidized bad. But we knew the car meant a lot to Olivia, and we wanted to keep it exactly the way her grandfather had it. So we didn't want to change anything about the car. We decided that we were just going to try to salvage the paint that was already here. So we wet sanded the whole car down and completely buffed it out. We went through all the chrome that's on here was tarnished and oxidized really bad. We went through and hand polished all the chrome on the entire car. We had to do a complete tune-up on the car. All the spark plugs were bad. The ignition coil was bad. It didn't have any antifreeze in it whatsoever.
Cap and rotor.
The distributor cap and rotor were cracked. The spark plug wires were broken. We replaced everything just to get it to run. On the interior of the car, the seats were pretty worn down. But we didn't want to change the upholstery out and stuff like that for you. We wanted to have the original leather that your grandfather used to sit in to drive this car around everywhere. So we re-dyed all your interior pieces for you. So they all look brand new, but it's still the original leather that was in this car to begin with. I know we really wanted the car to mean something to you. So our airbrush artist, Marty, decided he was going to put your name and Pablo and your grandfather's name on the glove box door. And then your mom came up with the idea of putting a picture of you and your grandfather in the glove compartment. So
that's my grandpa Russell, and he passed away about 2 years ago. And I actually was on a trip to Arizona, and he was very sick. He had Parkinson's, heart problems, like basically everything. And I came back from vacation, and I had like been there just like one day. And I went to visit him in the hospital, and he had passed away that day. So it's like almost he waited to go until I got back. And he was the most stubborn, like crazy person I ever met, but he was like the best person ever.
Well, I think listening to Mike and Scott, this car is pretty stubborn too, so Grandpa's in this car for sure.
Definitely.
This build was different than the other builds that we've done, just simply because it wasn't a complete customization job, which is kind of what we're used to doing. This job was more of a restoration or bring the car back to its original state, which is a lot of fun for us because we don't get to do that very often.
What's your favorite part on the car?
Oh gosh, okay, that's definitely difficult, but my favorite part would definitely have to be the airbrush of my name, my grandpa's, and then the car's name Pablo. I'm free,
Your grandpa, I know, is always in your heart, but now when you can drive, he'll be with you also.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Thanks so much for letting us be a part of your story.
Can't stop me, I'm unstoppable. I put my faith in small miracles, not tucked away for a rainy day, but for every waking moment, every chord we play. You can't stop me.